So holy shit, is that Wallace and Gromit? No, we are different people. So, not Wallace and Gromit here are helping me go to hell, cause I like the aesthetic. Arriving at the hell gate, I see some text about paint or something. Further exploring, I see that the owners have been so nice as to give me a free sin. Now, I don't need it, but it is much appreciated. Or not appreciated? Is appreciating stuff enough to keep me from hell? I did kill children, but... I sit down in the death chair and what the fuck is this? This doesn't look like hell to me. Does God hate children or something? I find this random recording. Hello Bible believers and random visitors. Today we have another long-awaited installment in the Third Testament. All sins are forgiving as long as they're cool. That was it for today. If you like this in any way or want to hear more from one of the 7 gods we added to the pantheon, just... Oh. Why do I have to be such a cool killer? I meet these totally normal guys who forcefully baptize me. Luckily, I whisper satanic sentences into the water, forever corrupting it and anyone who will ever be baptized here. Dark Souls 2 is a good game. Not cool, bro. Dying again, I wake up in limbo, open this door and oh my god, that's so cool. Why can't I just go to hell for once? I walk around, listen to some capitalism bad. The Third Testament, now in video form. I didn't see a terribly done paint job, though I don't think I would have noticed this if I wasn't a master painter. I painted with blood. I steal some things. Good thievery, sir. The Lord appreciates it. Are you going to kill me, good sir? You sure are a faithful man. I find a note saying that I'm a bad painter and I shouldn't try to get a job at Comsocks. At a carnival, I find some guys inhaling drugs like it's going to save their life. I also try some myself. I even start seeing devils. Right after taking a line, they give me a gun. I also find this girl selling permanent drugs. Guess this heaven thing isn't so bad after all. That was a joke. It's still shit. Laugh. I find the real Wallace and Gromit who checks whether people are tops or bottoms. I find a sign telling people how to recognize the cool killer. Wait, that's me? Welcome to Murder Time. For our 5-year anniversary, I want to thank my hero, the cool killer. I have been a fan since I was a little kid, and he actually inspired me to make this very show. And to honor this special day, one of you gets to murder these random homeless people. Oh, it looks like a winner. And our winner is... that guy. Oh my god, you're the cool killer? I'm a massive fan. Please kill me. No, kill me. Relax, I'll get to everyone one at a time. After killing some more guys, I begin to think maybe I can, with my amazing painter skills, paint heaven red in blood. If there's any painter that can paint a whole afterlife, it's me. I go around painting some stuff, killing some fans. I even pump up a robot with so much crack that it begins killing random people. I meet Bowser, who I immediately pump full of all the good stuff, and then I shoot it in the head. After killing it, I get some new drugs, and let me tell you, it's fire. As it sets my hands on fire, I can feel all of it, and somehow my nerves don't get burned off when I lose my skin. But honestly, I put it as a good 3 on the pain scale. It's also super worth it, as it allows me to kiss people from afar, and let me tell you, my kisses are mind-blowing. It makes people explode. After fulfilling some more fans' death wishes, I get cancer and die. Luckily, rich people don't have to follow the rules of the universe, and therefore I can quickly get back up again. After curing death with cash, I go get the items I paid real money for. Holy shit, that's the real Wallace and Grimace. After doing some parkour, I find one of the weapons I will be almost exclusively using for the rest of the game, the machine gun. Because 1, it kills people very good. I need this weapon to battle airships filled with fans. A bit later, I meet these haters who don't even try to make me kill them. Now, there's a lot of fans right outside the hater house, but luckily I can kill them all one by one by simply standing behind this door and punching them with that taser. Now, last I checked, tasers don't make people's heads explode. My master plan gets interrupted by Bowser. It's back after easily defeating Bowser. Again, I engage in my favorite hobby, looting. Murder is fun, but if you really want to bring your killing to the next level, you gotta reuse some of those old parts. It's almost as intrinsic a part of stabbing guys as the weapon, even sometimes the way you get your weapon. And let me tell you, nothing screams homicidal maniac like killing someone with their dead best friend's weapon. I didn't find a statue of Comsock killing children in the name of God. I knew it. I meet these rich guys, but I don't engage immediately, as I don't know if they're fans or not. But after seeing me, they quickly propel their love at me through a gun. They get what they want. I find out one of them was in the middle of listening to Comsock's podcast, so I finish it off, and boy, is he a fanboy. It actually gets kinda creepy when he starts talking about how he wants to come in my socks. I don't know if it's an euphemism or if it is, what it would mean, but it's bad. Bringing my heaven to these cool killer cultists, I find a key which presumably must go into a keyhole, as I figured out that most keys do that, and the game told me. It also told me that I have to go back to find where the hole fits, so I go back and back and back when I find this foggy landscape filled with previously dead fans walking around like nothing happened. I have to be honest, as the cool killer, zombies are my biggest fear, so I decide maybe the key isn't worth it. I go back to the cult and find an elevator taking me down to court. Now, I'm not a heaven expert, but why would they have a court in the middle? I think if you made it to the middle of heaven, you're not gonna go out and commit sins. After a bit of exploring and looting, I meet a guy cosplaying as a murder of crows who also wants to murder me. I can't help myself from joining in on the roleplay, so I kill him. I quickly realized this wasn't a passionate crow fan, but a guy on enough drugs to kill an elephant, so I take all of them. Now this drugs makes it seem like a crow lands on my hand and does nothing. Aren't these supposed to be painful? 10 out of 10 on the pain scale just for the disappointment. Moving on and doing a bit of parkour, I find this group of fans and one hater who does the international hater sign of running into the corner then sitting there shivering, saying lines like, "Please don't hurt me." Classic. I don't kill haters, but after finishing off the fans, I begin to wonder, can I kill haters? So I prepare the massive chainsaw on my hand and do a bit of slicing. Now honestly, pretty expectedly, you can. I then spend a lot of time not realizing I have to go to the progression place to progress. Moving on, I skate on some rails, kill some fans, and loot all over the place whilst listening to some of Comsock's podcast. If I ever meet the cool killer, I will, other than do the common sock thing. I find this cool elevator and Comsock begins to talk to me. "I am very happy you're here. Took a lot of work. You would. Why did you bring me here? Is it really just your perverted fantasy? I'm afraid bringing you here is all you. I am wondering what you're doing in this part of town. Are you still obsessed with the entire paint the world and all will burn thing? I bet you're really excited for the burning part. Too bad you'll never get to see it." Moving on, I steal an airship with a really weird Comsock fan who for some reason is a me hater. I don't know how this can happen, as he only talks about how he wants to come in my socks. After a very small amount of flying, it's revealed that the Comsock fan loves me. Just so happened they show it by blowing up the airship with both of us in it. Luckily, I managed to jump out and skate all the way over to the world's weirdest lab, where they electrocute teddy bears to, I don't know, summon Freddy Fazbear. I also listened to Comsock's podcast where he talks about how he found the coolest paintbrush he's ever seen. Now, knowing the little bit I know about him, it's probably just a paintbrush I touched once. Going down this elevator, I find a weird locked up window I choose to explore before opening, but upon realizing there's more windows ahead, I try to go back and open it. I can't. Opening the next window, I saw that's a living paintbrush. Comsock was right. This is cool as fuck. Going to the next window, I see it paint alive like Japan on the wall. Do you know what this means? It's a fucking weeb. But I guess I can use this weeb to paint this place like hell, as the entire blood thing is not really working. After a bit more stalking and listening to Wallace's podcast about stalking, I meet the thing. "Please save me, I've been trapped here for so long. I've been forced to read every book." Now I quickly figure out why this painting utensils is one of the few not hated gaming sidekicks. First off, it has no downsides. It can't die and it gives free stuff. Now I don't really know why it doesn't use its inability to die to, I don't know, kill all the bad guys while I'm hiding in a corner. I guess reading every book doesn't make you smart, but it does make you immortal. Oh, by the way, I got a cute pet bird. Hello guys, and in this video I will be killing you. After the pet bird tries to pick me, I wake up in limbo and the paintbrush tells me to paint the world and all will burn or something. Waking up on the beach, paintbrush doesn't actually hate heaven and hangs with the locals. But to save it from the hands of God, I lie and say that if we paint heaven like hell, we'll be magically teleported to Japan. After a bit of exploring, it asked me whether we should use rose red paint or blood red paint. I'm more of a blood guy, so I choose that. After exploring and finding out heaven is racist, I find out how to open the menu. I also see that you can upgrade guns. I never figure out how, but that probably doesn't matter. I talk to this guy who works for Paint Inc. to buy a massive paint bucket. Holy shit, is that loot behind you? Wait. Only the cool killer talks about loot like that. Please kill me. After killing the entire room, my paintbrush runs away because I like jazz, which is wrong. Everyone knows Comsock is the jazzler. I only listen to guys who didn't think they were white enough already screaming. I quickly explained this to it and we move on. I didn't realize it can pick lock, but it needs these weird mechanical auto-lock pickers, which is like saying you're an amazing runner, but then you show up to the race in a car. I didn't listen to Tower's podcast. I hope I don't have to watch the previous video to understand this one. Oh, you don't? Oh, great. I didn't meet a bunch of haters who immediately become fans when I steal from them, so I kill all of them. After ridding this city of life, I realized to get the plane to the paint, I need to learn how to control lightning. So I go to the control lightning shop. I enter this elevator, but it breaks halfway through, so to pass the time, Paintbrush paints a cool window, but his pet bird almost flies out the painting to kill us, so we have to close it quick. Now you may think paintings coming to life with giant meta birds is a bad thing, and you would be right, but it would add so much to the aesthetic. We move on, and I find another drug. Finally, a drug that actually hurts. I'll give it a 4. I find this code, but I can't for the life of me find the code book. I need to solve the code. And the worst part is that I need this code to progress. Oh, I'm just stupid. I just have to pull this lever to go become Zeus. The code is entirely optional. I skate on over to the Burger King Palace where I find a sniper. It would be good if I knew how to use it. I enter Burger King and use a rocket launcher on an innocent child standing around. I figure out my old murder pal, Jim, wants to kill me just to spite Comsock, so he sends a bunch of real boys after me. I don't know why he calls them real boys, but I do remember him saying something about boys born of comma and real. Really hope no one tells him about the birds and the bees. I go to the Museum of Birth where I get very low on ammo. I could buy some, but I will not waste some of my hard-earned money on bullets. I would much rather waste it on dying. And so I do. I first go to the section depicting metal children, and honestly it kinda robo-says, this shit is incredibly robophobic. That's why I have to do it. You understand? We killed blood bags together. I just did that out of evil in my heart. Hey, at least you kill all equally. I will drain your bank account. Wow, that could have been avoided if I just bought ammo. Going to the Flesh People exhibit, I hear about how the great Comsock killed the tin boxes that so evilly murdered the good people of the tin box slavery camp. Which is wrong, I was the only one who did any killing there. I don't even know why he would take the blame for the murder. We liked him before. I feel like I'm digging a deeper and deeper hole for myself that could easily escape, but I just don't. I see a painting of Comsock's wife, and the only thing I have left after learning that is maybe he hopefully stopped the podcast before getting a wife. Oh, Mrs. Comsock also has a podcast. Just got married to Comsock. At first I wasn't interested, but when I got to the part of his podcast where he talks about coming in that murder sucks, I couldn't hold back. At least he didn't kidnap her. I get to this gate I can't get through when I realize I can use my magic paintbrush for something useful. I immediately use this power to try and kill myself. I fail. After projecting and killing these guys instead, I move on to find a new robotic enemy, and it's hard. But luckily its bullets are all blocked by my massive wallet. I find the lightning drug or what remains of it. Too bad. Guess we have to find another way to a bucket. Hey, cool killer. I'm so fucking high right now. I can't do this, guys. Just kill him. I run after Jim in this corridor. Hey, see what I can do. I find Jim on the ground suffering, so I decide to make his pain worse. When two people love each other very much. I know about the birds and the bees. Then what? I thought this was a race war. It's more like a religious rebirth. Okay, from the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. I craved this strength and certainty of steel. I aspire to the I take the Zeus juice, which blows crystals through my hand and does a little lightning. I'd give it a good 2 out of 10, kind of disappointing, but not like so bad that it goes around and become painful like that excuse for torture that is the birdie. I begin looting when I realize I've been here before. But with my new power I can juice up some doors allowing me through. They don't contain anything good, but looting is gambling. When I exit the Burger King Palace I am attacked by some mysterious yellow arches. I quickly eat them. I also meet these strong guys for the first time. Trust me, I wouldn't lie, I'm a good boy. I use my shotgun as my good gun is out of ammo. Quick tip, shotguns aren't the best at range. Also, don't walk into missiles. That diff brings me down to the point of having to live semi-modestly to not have to work a day in my life. Disgusting. I then killed the rocket man with a sniper, which I've heard is actually okay at range, though I think they're better right in people's faces, ruining the meta. Sadly, I have to drop my now entirely empty machine gun. A sad day for me. Returning to the uncrackable code, I used the innovative strategy of looking down to solve it. I meet Bioshock again. I would be mad about how much it comes back, but honestly it's on brand. Using the now cracked code, I find a secret room detailing Towers' secret plans on how to bring down Comstock and loot. I also get my machine gun back, now with ammo. I use my lightning powers to kill the robotic president again. It gives me a cool gun, and by looking at how much damage it does to me, it must be a good gun. At the next encounter, I discover it sucks, so I have to steal someone else's gun. Good thing there's a lot of rocket launchers around here. Almost dying enough to have to work again, I kill all of the fans and move on. I get to a more peaceful land, but that peace doesn't last long, for I meet some guys who want me to kill them. I go down an elevator and find my airship. Why don't we just use the airship to fly to Japan? You don't care about anime, you just care about hell. You're not a real weeb, are you? What's your favorite waifu? Pikachu? What? That's the worst choice. I can't paint with a guy who wants to fuck a mouse. Yeah, I think I have to kill you. Luckily, the brush sucks at murder and I wake up a bit later. You're the cool killer guy. Comstock likes you. It would be really fun to see his face after you backstab him. Do something mean to Comstock and I give you a pat on the head. Hey, I was wondering, do I have to watch the previous video? No. But I would really appreciate it if you press that red button under the video. What? Get this man out of here. I begin by accidentally stealing from this high-ranking officer in front of them and then killing them. This makes the surrounding people realize who I am, throwing me directly into a massive fight, draining even more of my bullets. I just got them back. I find the paintbrush. No, get away from me, you zoophile. I didn't know. It leaves before I get to tell it, so I run after it. But every time I get close, it paints something in front of me. I corner it and slowly walk over whilst doing the creepy grabby hands, but it paints a hole in the wall, runs through it, and then gets captured by some fans who think they'll get extra murdered if they steal my paintbrush. Which is wrong, I kill all equally. I go over to kill them, but they have some friends that they want me to kill first, so I do. I go over to these guys to kill them, but it seems like paintbrush got to them first. I'm very proud. I continue running after paintbrush, but I'm attacked by what looks like a Frankenstein attempt at creating some sort of peace between humans and robots. It throws me off of a building. I fall through the sky and couldn't you have created something softer for me to land on? Hey, I don't fuck animals. I just don't know what a waifu is. I'm sorry I lied to you about anime, but I really need to get to hell. There's something I haven't told you. Hell looks really cool. I like hell too, it's just I don't understand why I insist on painting heaven like hell instead of just going there with the massive airship. Oh, I didn't think of that. Also, stop calling me paintbrush. I'm a living sentient being. Call me pee-pee. I go to a place where no one knows me, even after I steal from my family right in front of them. It's refreshing. Pieces, however, interrupted when I learned that the shitty Frankensteins, Romeo and Juliet, works. Humans and robots are working together. This officially puts me back at the poverty line of ammo. I listened to a new episode of Jim's podcast. So recently I met my old friend, the cool killer. Got my ass beat. But I was so high, I just decided to glue a guy to a robot, and apparently it was enough to stop the religious war. After doing some cruel killing, I go up an elevator. While slowly going up to near the top of heaven, someone calls me. Hey, capitalism here. Yeah, that is my name. This is a capitalism bad game. What were you expecting? Okay, I've got this one guy. He has an Asian wife. Now Comstock really loves this fact. So whatever you do, don't make his wife right. Okay, cool. See ya. At the top of the elevator, I find the other of the two guns I will be using for the rest of the game. The hand cannon. One headshot with this baby is enough to bring down a regular fan. I explore capitalism's bad land. I find the guy and I can confirm his wife is indeed not white. Having completed my one mission, I try to go to the good time club, but I'm attacked by Frankenstein. Luckily, it only kills me enough times to make me have to work 2 days in my life, which is really weird as I thought capitalism would make it so the rich get richer. Entering the good time club, I realize it's not made for me to have a good time, but my fans. I have to fight a few waves of fans. First some normal humans, then Bowser. Always thought it just kinda tagged along with his friends who are fans, but apparently it's also one. Explains why it always comes back. then a guy cosplaying a murder of crows in more ways than one, then finally a bunch of robo-fans. I go to the basement and decide to follow Wallace and Grimace's advice on how to paint people to turn that guy's wife white out of spite. Serves you for not giving me a good time, but it results in capitalism getting more power, so kill a bunch of its guys. I find the guy, but apparently he went mad when his wife became white. I call towers, but apparently turning one guy's wife white isn't enough. And apparently I have to stop the evil capitalism. So go even further up in heaven, where the god of stealing money resides. You know, one of the 7 gods from earlier that you remember. Turns out Comstock talks about more than my socks. He has an entire series on the Third Testament. Very interesting stuff. Well, the god of stealing money drains all cash out of surrounding beings, which is why it doesn't live with all the other gods. I kill a guy, but no one cares as these people are too poor to buy a fuck to give. After terrorizing the poor some more, I play some soothing tunes to this kid. I get to this cool skating section where you skate on some rails whilst having a little scuffle with a massive machine gun. After spending a lot of time skating, I go to prison, as even gods have to follow the law. And hey, I've already eaten a rich guy. I show the cops my resume, but they want a little more proof that I'll be a good prisoner, so I do a little murder project. I find the god of stealing money in a very epic battle that sadly got removed by higher powers. It is sad that I will not be able to prove that I killed a god with my bare fist, as I dropped all my weapons on accident right before the fight, but I do get access to the capitalism machine. I turn it off and its effects are quick. It almost feels like I stepped into an alternate reality. I listened to Towers' podcast, which has gotten a lot more left-leaning. Holy shit, that's a terrible place to put a naval mine. I don't think that thing is gonna blow up a lot of submarines in jail. Is that why they put it here? Did it commit attempted murder? Did you catch it planning to blow up? Well, I go back to the kill skate section and shoot some commies, which isn't the best thing when they're your teammates. But it isn't my fault, they're red. I kinda have to shoot them. After realizing I don't have to stay and fight this admittedly cool battle, I find a fan that doesn't want me to kill them. I am understandably confused, but apparently commies don't believe in getting killed on a mass scale. I go back down the elevator whilst getting a new drug, which kinda just blows on my hands. I would give it a 10 out of 10 for disappointment, but we can't have 2 shit stains with high scores. So 0 out of 10. I then help the commies raid capitalism's house, but to do that I have to 1v1 an airship. Hey, can you hop on Among Us? After an ECW, I go into capitalism's house whilst going down an elevator. This loser calls me. Did you just call me a loser? I killed capitalism and now my name is communism. Oh, I didn't know it was his title. It's not, it's my legal name. Every commie in the world will now try and kill you because you called me a loser. Being very shocked that people can actually hear this, I go on my way to kill I can still hear you. Hey, would you say that you're bad or maybe a bad boy? Yeah, definitely. No, not communism bad in my capitalism bad game. After leaving the elevator, I find more drugs. I would give this one an okay rating, but I don't think I will be supporting the mafia anymore after such disappointing drugs. Hashtag bring Heisenberg back. I go to not kill communism when I see it kill a rich guy and try to kill a kid. I'm going to kill this kid because this old man doesn't have enough meat for everyone. Is this a kill god eat the rich thing? I don't think you're supposed to take it literally. I'm suddenly attacked by an army of communists, and it's very convenient that the second I'm against communism, they get alliances with Bowser and the robots. Was this ever about Comstock, or is everyone just looking for an excuse to kill me? After dying so much to Frankenstein that I become a middle-class citizen, I finally defeat the USSR. I then don't make PB crawl into a vent and not kill communism. This plan doesn't work. What communism already did, I don't have to lie anymore. We get into the airship and fly away to hell, but this little birdie wants corns and thinks crashing us is the best way to get it. I meet Wallace and Grimace again. They tell me that the bird likes corns, which I already kinda knew. I then get into a bit of a scuffle and I lose a lot of ammo whilst dying repeatedly. So I don't have my trusty machine gun. This results in my death a few times, but I find my way and I move on. And I kill some more communists, and they're now communist robots. I also get the machine gun back. Yippee! I go downwards on a massive skateboard. I see Wallace and Grimace, and PB finally remembers that they wrote the Third Testament and that it makes heaven float. I begin fighting my way to the bottom of heaven. I then get dementia and moved back a bit, so I do that last part again. I find these guys. With my Sherlock-like intelligence, I figure out they probably died I get into a big fight, but I paint a picture of Tesla that is so shocking that my enemies actually feel the electricity. This doesn't stop me from losing everything that can fit inside a gun. After somehow surviving whilst getting to keep my clothes, I listen to Wall-Ass's podcast whilst desperately trying to climb a ladder. I go into a shop where in the cellar I find a podcast just about how there's a secret under the register. Now, I don't know if I didn't spam everything under the cash register enough or this guy is a liar. Whilst trying to unlock a door, I accidentally activate a corn machine. Hello guys, and today I'm gonna be rating my top 10 types of corn. Number 1. Ew. It doesn't find us, but it reminds PB to make me promise that if we ever go to Traumaland, I should go back as all the rides are terrible. We go up an elevator, but it crashes. I can skate away, but I don't think PB has that ability and is therefore stuck forever. After some more killing and forced weapon switching, I just find PB. I'm just gonna assume that this is a new PB and that any promise that I made to the old one doesn't count for this one. The new PB also has the cool ability of being able to be a kind of transportation device for my bullets. This battle ends with having to fight a Frankenstein, and for once I don't die. After this, I am faced with the hardest part of the game. I have to choose between two routes that both seem like they could be the main one. I go down the route on the side, but I start doubting it being a side route when it just keeps going. It has a building floating with the power of the Third Testament. I even find one of those drugs I have stopped talking about. I killed Commibot 6000 with magic. Also, in the middle of this battle zone, there's just a woman cleaning. I think she needs to see a doctor. I go to graveyard thinking it must be a detour or something, but it's just filled with tombstone after tombstone with credit given to me. I find Comsock's house, which is when I realize it's a loop, and as long as I don't enter that building, I'm off the beaten track. So I move on, and there's this cool capitalist versus communist section where enemies are fighting each other. So I move on, and there's this cool sniper section where I spend a lot of time thinking the sniper is in another position than it is. I find some of Mrs. Comsock's podcast where she says that Mr. Comsock has done some bad shit. I don't know what, but it's foreshadowing. I didn't find my way back to the big arena, but I exit out of a third door. The other road I thought was progress is completely separate. It's also tiny. I go to Comsock's house, but I need the hand of someone in the Comsock family to access. Luckily, old Miss Comsock is right there in the cemetery. But whilst trying to cut off her hand, Comsock uses a metal arm to pick up PB and paint a smiley on the face of Mrs. Comsock. This somehow makes her a zombie. I didn't fight her along with her zombie pals that since their death have realized getting murdered by me isn't very fun. After beating her, I realized totally on my own that I need to remind Mrs. Comsock of the evil thing her husband did. My husband likes jazz. I go around collecting more info, like how Wall-Ass wants to fuck its dog Grimace. The price for this info is all my bullets, but I return to the Comsock house to tell Mrs. Comsock the truth. Not only does your husband like jazz, he's the Jazzler. Help us kill him. This of course works. She tells me that some of the zombies have leaked the information about dying not being fun, and therefore more people will actually try to kill me while shooting at me. I pull this lever to move me and PB to Comsock's house, which just happens to be inside of Traumaland. His house also luckily is right at the bottom of heaven, so there should be a convenient hell door next to his fridge. The thing is, the lever you need to pull to get to Traumaland dispenses corn, and maybe the bird kidnaps PB and takes it into Traumaland. I wake up in limbo where PB tells me to paint the world and all will burn. I wake up and see that someone has just drawn a bridge to Traumaland. I fight these haters that call themselves the police. Classic. I listen to PB's podcast where it talks about how big of a pyromaniac it is. I go down this elevator, get spotted by the max 1 cop with sight that is allowed in the room. I then kill all of them. But oh no, my machine gun doesn't have any more ammo. This means I have to switch guns. Ew. I find the next episode of PB's podcast where it talks about how great it is in hell, which is weird as we're both in heaven. I also find one of the riots, and yeah, that's just a torture machine. Like no hero bowl, that's a torture chair. Managed to actually sneak past the cops, but dying to later enemies somehow just triggers the entire force inside of the room, making it so I have to fight the guys who killed me and the cops. I get so low on my switch out guns ammo, I start thinking about switching it out too. This isn't necessary as I actually don't get caught by the police for once. I watch a movie made by a much older sounding PB where it talks about how we should definitely set fire to New York. I find some more podcast about how happy PB is that I never gave up on it. I also switch out my switch out gun for a switch out gun, but I quickly find my old gun. I realize I can combine my drug powers. These drugs are officially cool again, and I'll talk about them. I go back to the elevator where I find old PB. Paint the world and all will burn. After you paint this land, I gain power over the citizens of New Hell. I use this power to set fire to the human world. Please don't just leave. Paint the world. I find PB being forced into one of the rides, which is still just torture chairs. I kill some guys and turn off the machine. PB then does this cool painting, but I don't see it as I immediately run away from the glass looking down at it and around to it. We then do some farther weep that doesn't talk about anime at all, as the writer's knowledge on anime isn't a lot looting. We go down the elevator and get a good look at Comstock's house. I fight through an army whilst Comstock talks about how betrayed he is that murder isn't cool and that I probably won't let him come in my socks, which is right. After making my way to Comstock's store, I do my last looting before heading in. I fight my way through the giant section filled with air inside his house that I have to fly through. This would be impossible if it wasn't for express drugs. They send drugs right to your door. They don't even ask for aid. I think I'm just gonna stop the sponsor here. I make it to Comstock's living room, which is filled with empty space but has a massive airship in the middle of it. I fight and loot my way through the entirety of the first floor. I then pull a lever and make it to the second floor. I do the same thing until I reach Comstock's room. Right outside his door is a drawing showing that the statue of Heaven Liberty is a massive paint bucket filled with red paint. I enter his room. Okay, we're going to kill you. Then we're going to walk through that door and go to hell. Why do you think there would be a door to hell at the bottom of hell itself? What? Like the look? Very hard paint job. How could you? You removed the best part of hell. How could I? Sure looks like your brush. I killed Comstock before I could elaborate because I felt like it. Did you help him do this? I don't know. I can't remember anything from more than 3 years ago. Me too. We agree that we must paint hell back, and we will do it by flying a massive airship into the paint bucket. Now, the sinners aren't a fan of this and tries to stop us, but we realize we can throw corn at our enemies to make it attack someone. Time to join my top 10. During this battle, my bank account hits 0, but PB still revives me for free. I'm speechless at how stupid it is. Why revive someone when they can't even give you money? After a long hard battle, we paint hell back. This doesn't look like hell to me. It's hell, but not our hell. See, that paint bucket contained every hell. We'll need to navigate these hells to find ours. We navigate all over this hell hub. We even find another us doing the same. I find a memory of our hell before it was painted, but there's a man who's hiring painters for a job. I reject, of course, and PB tells me this is a look into the past I have forgotten. Very happy I didn't go along with that guy, as he looks kinda creepy. I somehow get to Limbo where I see myself giving a paintbrush to Comstock. No, the paintbrush that paints hell itself. What have I done? I try to get it back, but I fail. I realized to make up for my mistake, we must kill the man that painted hell in those terrible colors. I go into a door and find the old creepy man. I try to ask the man who took the job who did this, but the words don't leave my mouth. Instead, it is as if someone takes over my body just to say, I accept the job. No, I can't be the one who did this. I can't. And yet you did. Then you couldn't live with the pain of knowing, so you made yourself forget. Spent years trying to find out how, and you did. Then you had to be lured out here just to make up for what you did. The world will burn, but you will not be around to see it.